Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, Wise.
And welcome to another episode. I am your host, W-I-Z-E, and I have a very special guest. I've been trying to get her on my show for probably over a year now, and we finally got to work it out and get her on the schedule. She's a podcaster. She's the host of the Juicy Pear podcast. She's an author. She actually has a book that just came out in January, The Awakening. Welcome to the show, Wendy Coke. What's going on, Wendy?
Hey, thank you so much, Wise, for having me on. It's such a pleasure to be on your show today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Like I said, we've been trying to get this together for the longest time. We finally got it together, and it's here.
I know, it's been a crazy last few months.
Yes. So when you originally started your podcast, it was a duo. It is no longer a duo. It's you by yourself now.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed having Sean on. She was fabulous, but it just wasn't really her wheelhouse. And she, we're still really good friends and things. And I love taking the wheel. I love finding guests and marketing and doing everything with that comes with it. And it's been really fun. So I think the most fun part of podcasting, and I think you can share this sentiment, is all the cool people you get to meet, right?
Yes, it actually is. I've networked with so many amazing people. You, Sarah, Brandy. There's so many people I can name that I've connected with, that I've developed friendships with, people that you probably would have never met in your life, and because of podcasting, and because of the situation where everybody now is virtual, you're able to meet people from all over the world. And I've made connections with people from all over the world, so that's been a blessing. And I love talking to people.
I know, same here. I mean, it's just, there's no other way I can think of that you get in. It's just a wonderful excuse to meet new people, learn their story, tell their story, and learn something new because of it. I always learn something new when I hear a podcast, always. And it's wonderful. And we were talking before that our podcasts are called Pandemic Babies because it was started during the pandemic. One of the wonderful things that happened because of it. I don't know if I would have started it because of that. I don't know. I do know that I was tired of hearing incessant depressing stuff on TV, and everything was depressing and all, and it just wouldn't stop. It was just kept going on, and there was this huge great cloud, and I thought, there's got to be a better way to live. just to try to get entertainment out there in a joyful way, and to be positive, and just to try to get your mind off of all the crap that's going on in the world. And basically that's why I started my podcast.
And mine's it's similar. I started my podcast because I was furloughed from work, but I had already purchased equipment. I had wanted to start a podcast since 2019, but I was forced to start my podcast, and I'm very happy that I was. It was just I was home. I was sitting home talking on the phone with my nephew, and like I said, I had purchased equipment a year before. Exactly a year before, and because I was going to do a sports podcast with a friend, and I just made up excuses to now. First of all, it didn't work out between me and a friend because him and his wife had a baby, so newborns are crazy, so his schedule wouldn't work. And so I just started making excuses for myself, like, why would anybody want to listen to me? I sound horrible. I'm probably gonna suck. Now I don't want to do it. So I started just putting the thought out
Getting
that I
out of your
can't do it.
comfort zone.
Yeah, just making up excuses, being stuck in my mind. And that's
Yeah.
why I named it Stuck in My Mind podcast, because I was stuck in my head making excuses. And so when I finally decided to press record, it was like something awoke in me,
Yeah.
and I have a lot to say now. And so like you, I bring guests on, I have them share their story. I learn a lot from my guests. And at one
Absolutely.
point I was kind of um I said it was selfish of me of learning all this stuff from all my guests, and someone corrected me and said, "No, that's self-love because you're wanting to grow and develop, and so it's okay for you to want this as well as want it for your listeners because you as well need to nurture yourself to grow and develop."
Absolutely. There is nothing wrong with doing something that you really, truly enjoy. And people will know that and they'll see that. And that's why you know it'll be good. If you're doing it from your heart, I mean, you're going to find your core audience. And, the hard part is sometimes we just have to get out of our own way. Really, we're the ones that are putting barriers to it, making it harder than it has to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I know when I first started out, it was difficult. I mean, I didn't know anything about podcasting. I listened to, gosh, my first podcast, I think I listened to a TED Talk. It was somebody at Starbucks, and it was just so intimate and relaxing and very knowledgeable. And I'm like, oh, wow. And you just felt like you were like in the room. And I just thought, this is really cool. This is something that I think I want to pursue myself. But I didn't know anything about podcasting. In fact, I had to take a class on it. And it was kind of difficult at first because I'm not, I am tech savvy to a point, but then I ran into some problems. It was hard. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could have Googled 100 different things or, gone on YouTube a million different times to, look up how to do every single thing. But goodness, that could be tedious as well. So, yeah, I took a class and that helped out tremendously. And, because you got to make sure your artwork is really sort of on point so you can get accepted into the directories, right? And you got to know what you can say and what Apple doesn't necessarily like to have. If you have like an apple on your cover design, they don't like that. It's kind of frowned upon. So certain things like this that, coming into it, you don't necessarily know right away, but then, you learn.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I've taught myself so much since I've learned to do my podcast. I edit my podcast. And since I started the video portion of it this past September, it was me learning how to edit video now. It
Yeah.
was me learning about cover art, making sure I had a specific size. Apple
Yeah.
requires a specific size, and Google requires a different size. So I had to make sure that I did the research on what platform I wanted to release my podcast on.
Right.
Like, excuse me, but everybody's like, oh, everybody's jumping on with Anchor because it's free. Sometimes free isn't always better. So I
Right.
made sure I did my research. I found a platform that I was happy with all the
Yeah.
benefits that they offered, and I haven't had a problem with them. I'm just every single platform you could probably name, I'm on there, and
Same
that's what
here.
you want. And that's
There's
what you
some
want. You want to get
exactly.
your podcast out on all these directories because not everyone has Apple, not everyone uses
Right.
Spotify, not everyone uses Google. They use
Right.
different other apps.
And it's so cool too. I remember when my friend first came up to me and said, "Hey, I was on Alexa," and I said, "Hey, play a Juicy Pear podcast," and it came right up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh! I mean, that's
Yeah.
incredible. That's just incredible what technology can do nowadays." But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fun guests on. I got a lot of episodes, really fun episodes coming out during the summer. I'm going to be interviewing a bunch of ghost hunters. I think I'm interviewing just all kinds of people. A makeup artist that she does a makeup artistry for horror films. I have somebody who has had an UFO experience, And you know, it's pretty bizarre, some of these things that people have encountered. But you know, that's why I want to have them on the show. I'm not there to judge or anything like that. I just want them to tell their story. You know, if I find it creative and compelling, I absolutely want to have them on the show. Um, yeah, and just have the viewers listen to it and make up their own minds. You know.
And not, listen, it's everyone. It there's a niche, and especially in podcasting. There's a niche for almost everything, and ghost hunting and supernatural is a big has a big following. A lot of
Oh yeah.
people, those podcasts have some unbelievable downloads. People really tune in to really listen to what these people have to say,
Yeah.
and and I applaud them for that. Listen, like whatever you have to do to find what makes you happy, and if that's what was meant for you to do is to go something and share these stories, more power to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I have creatives on the show, like musicians, authors, artists, entrepreneurs, spiritual people, healers, people that have overcome obstacles. I'm going to have on the show somebody who, you know, he was a police officer, and he ended up losing his job. He hurt his back or something, and he was addicted. He became addicted to drugs, and he just did a complete spiral. Spent some time in, I think it was prison, and so I'm going to have him on the show. I'm excited to have him on. It's inspirational because he's come out of it now, and now he's got a #1 best-selling book. And yeah, I'm excited to have him on. I'm going to have him on in a few weeks. And yeah, I mean, it's just incredible, all the different people that you get to communicate with.
Yeah, it is. I've like you. I've had celebrities on. I've had entrepreneurs, authors,
Yep.
coaches, high school friends of mine that are successful. I have a friend of
Yeah.
mine who he is one of the he is one of the hottest real estate agents in Brooklyn,
Oh, cool.
and and to have him on and we spoke about our goal setting and everything we was doing. Another friend of ours from high school was listening to heard that episode, and they were on the fence about starting their own business. And after hearing us speak, they decided that, hey, if these guys that I know and I grew up with are capable of doing what they're doing, why can't I do my business? And
Absolutely.
so when they sent me that message, it was like, oh man, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to do is share people's stories, share my story, and maybe someone out there might need to listen to it, might need it at a certain point. So the fact that it's out there for them, it's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And, you know, in this business, we're, you know, really considered thought leaders and kind of leaders in getting and propelling people to do what they want to do. That's the neat thing too. They can get inspired and think, you know, I'm going to break through some barriers, and I'm going to do it and just see what happens. And I definitely think it's worth it. But I wanted to tell you about my new sign I just got. My husband just got it for me. I'll move it over just for. I'm
Yeah,
super excited. Yeah,
I
he
saw
just.
I saw you posted I saw you posted on Facebook. I was like, oh man, I have to get me a sign now.
Oh gosh, I've been. You know what? Sarah has this beautiful sign.
Oh yeah,
Sarah,
that's the
Child's
yeah,
show,
that's
and
just house. Yeah.
it's so professional and beautiful, and it's always sitting in the back. I'm like, you know what? I got to get something like that. And I've been wanting to get a sign for the longest time. So yeah, finally got
Yeah,
it
no,
up
yeah.
there.
I have to get me a sign. I definitely. I've
Yeah,
wanted
you
to get me a
do.
sign. I have to get me a on the air sign for the front of my door so no one walks into the
Oh,
studio.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, bedroom slash studio, and then
There you go.
and then I don't always want to use my green screen that I have now. I
Yeah,
really do want to use the wall that I have in the back because I have some some things hanging on there with some inspirational quotes that I love, and I
yeah,
have a picture of Yankee Stadium that my daughter got me for Christmas,
Oh, nice.
and so it's in a beautiful frame, and so it's behind my green screen.
Okay.
So I need to bring it down, and that's why I also want to get the sign so I can hang the sign up back there.
Yeah,
But
you got to get
yeah,
a sign made. I think you should. Um, well, I'm
so
also. Oh, go ahead.
you so yes, you're an author. You just released the book in January. Tell us something about a little something about the book.
Yeah. So I just released. It's called An Awakening, and by Wendy Koch. And really, this was written during the pandemic. And my first book, I should say, it's called A Gray Resort. I won an award for it. I got a lot of great reviews from it. And I really wasn't intending on, I just wanted to write one book. So I should say, A Gray Resort really is about my experiences growing up on a northern town, in a small northern town in Wisconsin. There's the cover. However, it is fiction because, I decided to make it a fiction book. There were some paranormal things that happened on the resort. So I thought, that would be a great premise for a book. So it took many years. It took like 8 years to write it because I'm a mom of two sets of twins. I was in the throes of child rearing and I just didn't have the time. But what I was realizing through those years too is, I always loved to write. I liked to write even when I was a little girl. I wrote more poetry and short stories, but writing was a continual escape for me, and I needed that. When I was in the trenches of motherhood, all of them were when they were 5 and younger. It was just go 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 all the time. You kind of sometimes you lose yourself when you're doing that. And, writing was an escape. It was a world away. And I knew what I wanted to write about. And, so it came out in 2019 and I got a lot of great feedback. I got from all different kinds of people, not just one set of people. I mean, all different kinds, guys your age, all the way to like maybe 13, 14-year-olds that said that, oh, I love the book. And then I gave it to my mom to read. My mom loved the book. I've had some guys say, I picked up the book because I thought it was about fishing because there's a dock. And, they're like, you know what? It's not really normally what I read, but I found myself, I couldn't put it down. So that was just incredible to hear. But I didn't intend to write more than one book. I was just done with it. So my author friend suggested, she goes, after she read it, she said, this really needs to be a series. You can't just stop at one book. You have a very, she says, you just very creative. You're very out there with these characters. You can't just stop with one book. And I'm like, okay, then what do you want me to do? It was funny. She said, do a series, make it 3 books, and continue on with the story. So I took that to heart, and that's what I did. And that's An Awakening is my second book. So it's about really, I made An Awakening a type of book that you wouldn't necessarily have to read the first one. You could just pick this one up and, just kind of take it from there. You could kind of follow along with what was going on, really. So basically, it's about the set of characters in the small town called Neilsville, based on my real local hometown of Tomahawk. But I changed, the name of the town. I changed the name of characters. There's people that I decided to put in the book. Of course, I've changed names and scenarios and things, but there's some people in there that are people that I actually know, which was really fun. And there's some that I've completely made up, which that was kind of fun too. And really, it's just, it was really fun to write. I really enjoyed writing. I have a favorite character in the book. It's a couple, Lyle and Cassie. They are, if I could just say, so Cassie really is somebody, she's a middle-aged woman. She's got this white blonde bouffant hairdo, red lipstick, tells dirty jokes, very flamboyant, eccentric, commands attention of the room. Very, that's her character. And I brought her, she's so fun, and she's based on a real character. and she's one of my favorite characters to write. And she's in the book in Awakening, and she experiences, these residents of Neilsville are experiencing a type of evil. There's an evil kind of coming into town, and they're starting to slowly realize it, and they're trying to figure out what to do about it and how to get rid of it. So that's really what an Awakening is about. I would love everybody to pick up my books. And I would love to hear your comments and hear what you thought about it. And yeah, and I'm currently working on book 3. In fact, I was working on it earlier today. It's hard to find the time.
So you said the characters are basically loosed on people you know.
Yes. Yep.
Has anyone like that you know that read the book realized, hey, like that's me?
My sister. So my sister read Agree. She's like, oh, okay, that's, since An Awakening just came out, I'm kind of waiting. There's a couple people I know that are characters in the book. I'm not going to say who. I got permission, of course. So that'll be interesting to see what they think. But yeah, and there's a completely made up character called the Traveler. He's a great character as well. He was somebody that I don't know. He's like a supernatural guy. He's been around for thousands of years, and he knows about these. They're called distractors. I totally made that up. They're like these evil beings that are coming to town, and they kind of want to take over everybody. And the Traveler has encountered these things over the years, and he's kind of let them, go by and just kind of let them do what they want to do. He kind of minded his own business, but now he's kind of getting sick of it, and he kind of wants to help the humans. And yeah, so that's kind of plays out in a big way in Awakening.
Would you ever consider making it into a movie or a miniseries?
Absolutely. I've had so many people tell me it should be a movie. People that have read the book, a lot of them have said, I could easily see this as a Netflix movie. It would be fabulous, and I would have to agree. I think it really would. What I did when I was thinking about this book is I didn't want it to be another cheesy romance. I didn't want it to be just another, I don't know, utopian sort of book, that's already been done many, many times. What I wanted to do is I wanted to create a piece of magic, and I wanted it to be so compelling that people would not want to put it down, that they would want to turn the page. And that was my mindset going into it. I didn't want, I don't care how much money I make. I don't make all that much from, I think I sell one copy on Amazon, I might get $1. So that's not the goal. But the goal is, I would love for everybody to read my book because I think they're pretty cool. But the goal really was, I had this fire in me, and I thought, I got this magic, and I really want to have that come into play in this book. It's a magical place in northern Wisconsin. It was a really great place to grow up. It was along a lake. It was had a lot of cabins, and that's where I grew up, and it was really fun. And I wanted to capture that, and I wanted to have something that I could always, come back to and read, because my dad's passed on. They don't have the resort anymore, but it was really just a great place to grow up. It was during the 70s and 80s. And, my parents loved to have people together. They gathered people together. They had all these parties, and I remember, they had these picnics and stuff. And then afterwards, my dad would get his guitar out and start playing. And, I remember as a little girl, just, walking through the crowd and bumping into people. It was just great. It was just a very fun, easy, casual, relaxed atmosphere, which is, so different from today. And yeah, I enjoyed reliving that as I was writing A Gray Resort. That was fun. I would remember different things that happened and things, and yeah.
That's cool. I actually just ordered both books.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, I
Yes, I
so
just
appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I'm
ordered both
honored.
books. You were
Thank
telling me
you.
about it, and yeah.
God, if you like them, I would love to have a review. Oh my God, I love reviews.
I will do you one better. I will do an audio review, video audio review,
Oh, sweet. That is so cool. Thank you so much.
and
You
share it.
know, it's like as the reviews are steadily coming in, you know, when An Awakening just came out January 29th, I believe. And the night before, you know, I got really nervous. In fact, I was talking to my daughter with it, and I'm like, I don't know. What if people don't like it? What if people don't, you know, there's a terror that kind of goes through you. And I remember going through that with a Great Resort because I'm like, you know, I won an award for a Great Resort. I have kind of a lot to live up to. You know, I wanted to make it as good as the first one. What if no one likes it? Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you just kind of sit there and cross your fingers until you get the first review, right?
Yeah,
And when I got that first one, you know, oh, it was so hard to put down. I love the story. I felt like it was there. I was like, whew. It's like, you know, it resonated with at least one person, and that made me so happy.
that's it was like when you was just talking about it, I was like, you know what, let me support, let me get her
Oh,
books, and I'll review them, and yeah, so
it's so
you have to support you have to support friends, you have to support people who work hard at what they do, and
absolutely
I've always been like that. I've always support people that I know, people that I like, people that I know are trying to do positive things, and so you
right.
have to support, and how do you expect people to support you if you can't support people?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. It's so important. Thank you so much. That I really appreciate that so much because I don't, you know, some people don't realize there's just a lot of time that goes into it, a lot of solitary time, a lot of, um, you know, I love it. I want people to get my, you know, to read my stories. I want them to be entertained by them. You know, I want them to be taken away. That's the goal. You know, just to, you know, oh, I have a few minutes here and there to pick up my book and read it and be like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. You know, that it just for me that doesn't get any better, and I feel a lot of gratitude that I'm able to do that. You know, it took me a while. Um, you know, I wish I would have. You know what? I take that back because you know Amazon wasn't around. What 10, 15 years ago? It was you know Amazon.
not like it is now. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that was,
I mean, you know, all the opportunities that you can have, they just didn't have that back then. So maybe you know things come when they're supposed to. You know.
no. It's crazy. It's amazing that because now you no longer need to go to a big publishing house. You don't really
Right.
have to have their backing. It's great because you have that the
It
marketing and
is.
everything. It's
The
amazing.
marketing aspect, yes, it would be magnified about 1,000 times.
Yes.
The drawback for that, though, is you not all. I guess it would depend on the publishing house, but you tend to lose some of your creativity. You know, you don't own 100% of your rights. You have to kind of conform a little bit to what they think will sell and what they want. You know, it's more of their vision, which you know there's a lot of give and take there. There's some good things because like you said, you know, the marketing is would be fabulous because but you know, as an indie author, I marketing is hard, but it's fun too.
It's
um,
rewarding. I find it rewarding. We've actually self published our own book. We self published my nephew's book, and so
what's it called?
the plush life, from prison to peace,
Oh, I
and
have to order that one.
and so it was it was fulfilling and rewarding for me to help him bring his vision to life, to for us to bring this book out for people to read it. And
Were you like a friend of his and then you interviewed him, or
no,
how did
no,
it?
this is my family. This is my nephew.
Awesome. Okay.
He's my nephew. He's more of my brother. We grew up together. It's crazy because we're so close in age because I'm the
Right.
youngest from all my siblings. My mom had me when later on in life,
Okay.
so she had me when she was like 38, and I had siblings that are already 20, 19. So me and my nephew are similar in age. We're very close in age, so we grew up more like brothers than anything else. And we lost touch for a while, and during the pandemic, we reunited, got back together, and we started building this media company. We
Yeah.
we we have the production company. We have the internet radio station. We self-publishing
Fabulous.
books.
Yeah.
We're doing. I'm doing my podcast is doing well on YouTube. It's doing well on
Wonderful.
the other platforms that we have. And yes, we're not as we're successful in the fact that we're doing what we set out to do, what we want to do,
Exactly.
and so eventually all the other stuff is going to come with it. All the other stuff is going to catch up, and then we'll be able to really enjoy more what we're doing because right now, yes, it is a business,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's it's not a job. We love to do it.
Right.
So no matter what work we have to put into it, because whenever entrepreneurship is not easy. People think, oh
No.
yeah, I'm gonna own my own business. Yeah, I'm gonna be my own boss. But not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right. Right.
Some people don't realize you're gonna probably work more hours being an entrepreneur than you would a 9 to 5.
Yeah. You got to
A-
hustle it.
And
You,
at
you
first,
really
you're
do.
probably not gonna make as much money as you would working
That's
a
right.
9 to 5.
And you got to
And
be your own, you got to be your own cheerleader because you're not always going to have that, the people cheering for you. Eventually you will, but when you don't, you still got to be out there, cheering for yourself, getting out there, you know, getting out of your own way, constantly doing things that might be out of your comfort zone just to stay relevant. That's, it's a lot of work.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it
Mhm.
actually is. And so for us to do what we're doing, I commend every indie podcaster out there, especially the ones who do all the things that we do,
Yeah.
who are the marketing, who are the cover, who creates the cover art, who does
Right.
whatever editing that we need.
The producer, the
Every
editing, the
everything we're
marketing,
everything. We're all
everything.
in one. We're
Yes,
all
yeah,
in one.
yeah,
We don't have the backing of big machines like Spotify and Apple and all these other
right,
places.
right,
We're independent,
yeah,
and and that's why I enjoy listening more to the people that I've met because I know they put their heart and soul into what they do. These shows that they produce, they they're they're like me. They love it because they do it because they love it,
yeah, and
not
that's why
because
you
they
should do it.
not because you're getting a big paycheck. Don't get me wrong. The big paycheck, getting a big paycheck is lovely, great,
Well, sure.
but for the most part, us indie podcasters do it more because we love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done so many jobs that I didn't like for a steady paycheck, and I think I just came to the realization, and I'm able to, which is nice. I don't discount that, but I sort of a late bloomer. I kind of late in life kind of fell into what I really love doing. And I feel thankful for that because I don't think there's some people that go through life not really knowing what they want to do and don't do it, you
it
know?
it's
Yeah,
funny. It's crazy because me and you share such a similar path to what because like you, I didn't know what I love. I didn't know what my passion was. I didn't
yeah,
know what it was, and when I in my 40s is when I come to find out that I have a voice that
yeah,
I'm good
absolutely.
behind this mic. I'm not.
You
I'm
are. You got that voice. You got that
prior
stuff
to this,
to do.
prior to this, I didn't do radio. I didn't do TV. That wasn't my profession.
Yeah,
And now I can't see myself not doing this.
that's great. I love that. I mean, with writing too. I mean, I didn't know anybody. That's a hard nut to crack too. Oh my word. Usually, it's really good to have a connection in the publishing industry. You know, if you pick up a book and you look at it and you read it and you're thinking, oh goodness, how did that get published? Well, 9 times out of 10, that's usually the author is usually somebody, you know, he knows somebody of importance that is in the publishing industry. Um, I didn't realize that going in, but I've kind of found some things out. And it was really hard. It was really hard breaking through. And I did have an author friend, which kind of pointed me in the right direction of even what indie author business to use. I went through Book Baby, and you know, they're amazing. They have their own graphic design team, their marketing team, and I don't know if you've heard of the movie The Shack.
Yes.
Okay, so that book came from Book Baby. He used Book Baby as well. So yeah, they're very. I love them. In fact, when I first got my very first markup of my book, you know, I told them exactly how I wanted the cover, and they have their own professional team. They design the cover. I tell them right down to the font, the shades of the colors, what was to be in the cover. And when I got that first mock-up, I cried because they nailed it right from the first time. I mean, I cried. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is it. And then when it got mailed to me, it was just incredible because I never thought that would happen, and it did, and it's been great.
it, it's funny because actually I wrote a forward. I wrote the forward for the book, and I didn't really. I what it was is because I don't consider myself a very good writer. So what I did was I recorded it and I sent it to the person who helped us edit the
Yeah,
book and everything, and she transcribed it into words.
nice.
And so
Yeah,
it was an honor for me to write it for him because, like I said, he's more like a brother than anything else. And for me, it was just like being able to help someone you love
yeah,
accomplish a dream or a goal, whatever. That right there in itself is very, very
really
like,
gratifying.
yeah, it's just like so makes you
It's
it just makes you warm, just makes you fill up inside and just like this is what I want to continue to do. Help as many
and it's
people as
such a
possible. Just help as many people as possible, even if it's just one dream or one accomplishment or one goal. If I can help
yeah.
them accomplish one thing, then I'm good.
That's such a wonderful thing for you to do because it's kind of rare to have people do that. To be honest with you, there's usually something else, you know, contractual. You know, I'll do this if you do that kind of thing, and it's so wonderful to do that just from the heart, just because you believe in that person. That's amazing that you did that.
Well, it it goes both ways. The same blind faith I put into him, he puts into me. Like when
Hmm.
I said I wanted to launch an internet radio station, he said, "Let's." He's like, "All right, let's do this." When I told him that I wanted to start a production company, he was like, "Okay, I'm with you." So to have someone there that like sees what you see and knows that we can working together, we can get it done.
Hmm.
It's nothing more, especially when it's family, especially when you get to work with family and you get to build something from nothing
Yeah,
where
that's very
people
inspirational.
where you even try to include other family members
Yep.
and when you the response is crickets. And
No,
so we're like, you know what, all right, that's not going to deter us from doing what we're doing.
no, no.
So
Don't let it. No.
we've been grinding for the last 2 years. We released the book in January, just like you. The beginning of
Okay.
January, released the book, and this past January, I went over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. This
Oh, that's
past
fantastic.
March, I just got monetized.
Awesome.
So it's been a lot of work, but it's so fulfilling because we've put the work in.
Hmm.
We've put the sweat and like I said, being indie podcasters, there's nothing more fulfilling than that
It
because
would be,
it's
yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say it'd be fun if we all met sometime at like some podcast convention. Me go pick up Sarah, and then that would be. I'm excited that you're going to go to one in Florida. That'll be really fun.
and
I can't wait.
actually I'm actually gonna link up with a few people
Oh, cool.
podcasters that I've done interviews with.
Nice.
So they're gonna be down there. So to be able to sit down with them and record is gonna be dope. And that's what I plan on doing. Is like if I could meet up with people that I've never met before and be like, hey, I want to record. Why not? Like I'm taking
Hmm.
equipment with me,
Oh yeah. Yep.
so I'm excited. Who knows what connections I can make there. Who
That's
knows
cool.
what shows I could be on or
Yeah,
vice
I
versa.
mean, the
So
sky's the limit. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be nothing but good things. Good things coming your way. I can see it.
I was like, oh, I was like, yo, I told my nephew, I was like, yo, you want to go to a podcast convention? He's like, hell yeah. I was like, all right.
Uh-huh.
So I purchased the tickets, I got the flights, and I got the hotel, and we all set. And now can't wait to meet.
Yeah, and then you'll have to tell us how it went. I'm sure it'll be a blast.
Well, I don't know if you know Jeff DeWaskin.
Mm-mm.
Okay, he has a podcast. That's
Okay.
funny because that's his line. People are like, oh, you have a podcast, so it's funny. And I met him through someone we will not name.
Okay. Yep.
It's kind of like Voldemort.
Gotcha.
It's I
I hear
also
you.
met him through Voldemort,
Okay.
and
That's
and it's just he's gonna be down there because he's actually gonna be a speaker at the event. So I'm gonna be able
oh
to link
cool.
up with him and record because I've been on his podcast, he's been on mine. Um,
Yeah, all the
I-
connections that you make is so invaluable. I mean, you learn a little from each person too, and it's going to be nothing but good things. Yeah, I can't wait to go to probably next year. I'd like to go to a convention.
where you at?
West Michigan,
Oh,
yeah, in Grand Rapids area, Michigan. So think Detroit, and we're about 3.5, 4 hours on the west side.
okay.
We're about like 40 minutes from the big lake, Lake Michigan.
Ignition. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh, so yeah, you knew you you know what I'm going through with the snow and everything.
Oh god, I'm so sick of it. I'm so over it. Like everybody else, I am just so. It's supposed to
Yeah.
get, I don't know, maybe 70, which is unbelievable. In the
No,
next.
last week it was beautiful. Last Tuesday and Wednesday was
Yeah,
beautiful over here.
you're in where?
And
Pennsylvania, right?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in the mountains in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and so yesterday I'm sitting in my studio slash bed spare bedroom, and I'm looking out the window and it's snowing, and I'm like, oh
So
my
done.
god, I'm
So
over
done.
this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I'm over it.
Yep. Same. Same.
But
But yeah.
now, when Wendy, now is time where you really get to plug everything. Plug your Instagram, website, Facebook, everything.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. So everyone can follow me. Send me a friend request on, I love making new connections. I'm Wendy Koch, K-O-K, on Facebook. I have Wendy M. Koch author Facebook group. On Instagram, I'm Wendy Koch 4. On TikTok, I'm Wendy Koch author. On YouTube, I haven't been on YouTube in a while, but I do need to get back up and running on that. It's a Juicy Pear podcast. And, if you're a creative, if you've had a paranormal experience, UFO experience, I would love to have you on the show. You could email me at cokewendy769@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere you can find me. And yeah, my books are all over Amazon, Barnes & Noble, really all everywhere you can get books. And it's called An Awakening. And if you put my name in with An Awakening, it would be better. It would come up better because I think there's a lot of books with Awakening in the title. So, yeah, thank you so much.
I know it's my pleasure to have you on the show. Like I said, we've been working on this
I
for
know.
for a while now, and we can never get together. And so to be able to finally sit down and record with you has been great. And like,
Yeah,
even though we just recorded on Friday.
Yeah, we had a fun live last Friday. That was fun.
Yes. So,
We'll
so
have to do
yeah,
that
so
again.
I've had Sarah on before, so it was cool. So now to finally have you on, like I said, it's been a while since we trying to work this out. But yeah,
I'm so
man,
glad it did.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
Oh no, the pleasure again. The pleasure's all mine. Hold on a second. Don't just leave just yet. But I was about to give my shout outs. So big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Brandy J, Bobby J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you, baby. A big shout out to our guests, Wendy M. Coke, the host of a Juicy Pear podcast, and definitely go get her book. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. And you know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at wise_b_blunt, Instagram at wise_b_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/wise76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.